Here's some tips on buying your first car. There's many personal reasons why you would get your own car, whether it's a present, the need for college, moving to a new location, convenience, or no longer wanting to use public transportation. It's a big deal, and there's a lot to think about. As you can see, there's different motivations for buying a car, whether it be your car is dead, you need a car to suit your new needs, or just for other personal reasons. There's always a new reason to buy a car. As you can see, the most motivated reason is because of your car mileage. Sometimes when you're buying a car, you need to get a loan. Here's an example of how you do it. If you follow the website link as seen below, you can calculate your own loan very easily right on the internet. Whether or not you're getting a loan, there are common purchasing terms you should be familiar with. As you can see, many of these will probably come up in contracts, so it's good to be aware of them all. Most of them are self-explanatory, but others you could read on the site. Clearly, there are things that you're going to have to be aware of, especially your own budget. Before buying a car, you should be more aware of your budget. As you can see by the list here, there's a lot of things you're going to have to consider. Basically, you have to know if you're going to need a loan or not. You're going to need to know where you're going to purchase your car, who you're buying it from, if you're going to be negotiating, and being aware of what you're signing over. Balancing your needs and your wants can be difficult, but there's some things you're going to have to keep in mind. Remember, practicality wins. How long is your drive from work? Are you going to be carpooling? Do you going to have a lot of people in your car? Is your car going to be a highway driving car or a local car? These things in mind will greatly play into effect on the kind of car you want to purchase. Here are some examples of the top cars that many people pick based on personal preference. There are low-rise cars, there are high-rise cars, trucks, SUVs, regular cars, and minivans. Clearly, they all provide a different purpose. While the exterior and the car itself is important, we got to consider the interior as well. Here are some of the top reasons why buyers choose specific vehicle models, based on gas mileage, comfort, styling, technology, performance, and safety. As you can see what people most likely prefer. Clearly, they're all for different reasons and all different purposes. So when you're choosing to buy a new car, who you buy it from can really play into effect your quality of the car. Think of your dealer like a real estate agent. They're going to make themselves available to help you, but they also got to collect commission at the end. Here are some pros and cons as to why dealers may or may not work for you. Dealers will always offer you other financing options, will be easily contacted, help you inspect your car for warranties, and give you certified cars. But on the other end, they may offer high prices and leave not a lot of room for negotiating, and also must deal with professional sales terms and reliant upon commissions. Besides the general dealers, you can also choose a different option. Other kinds of dealers are private parties. Private parties give you more room for negotiation, no pressure, and a low starting price. But keep in mind, this can be extremely risky because you're dealing with an unknown person that's probably not going to follow a lot of the rules and regulations. Once again, it all depends on your personal preference. If you know somebody who's a private party and is really good, use it. But if you're not entirely sure and you haven't heard many feedback, maybe you should consider other things, especially by the power of word of mouth. What we hear about cars through family members, friends, community, media, and advertisements greatly influence our decision. Especially as young adults, being so tech-savvy, we definitely have a lot of these resources at hand. But are they truly working? A study has shown that the millennials, that's our age group, doesn't care much about buying cars. We prioritize our money and ourselves to not be related to a car, putting college first, our job, our other private expenses, hence why we wait so late to purchase a car. But whether you're paying your car on your own, through family members, or other means by more loans, there are reasons and price budgets that people buy cars. Here's an example of what consumers are prepared to pay. As you can see, the median price is anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000. That's about average. So, how do you make sure you have that money and use it wisely? Remember to always secure your finances. First, understand your credit score before going into the dealership. If your credit is not perfect, you should get a finance quote. If your credit is average, you could benefit by getting some loan quotes before you hit the dealership. Be sure to keep your term as short as you can afford. Shorter loan terms come with lower interest rates but higher monthly payments. Put 20% down and pay for taxes, fees, and extras with cash. Buying not your style? How about you try leasing? Leasing a car means a person will obtain a new or used car for a fixed number of years. This agreement is made about the number of years the client will be used. Keep in mind, though, you'll probably have a fee based on gas mileage or any repairs that are needed on the car. But why lease? It allows people to get a better car for their money but does not have to pay the money in full. Some see it as more reliable, and this is definitely an option if you cannot afford a down payment. So is leasing right for you? Remember to always consider your budget, driving needs, lifestyle, and credit history, which you can find online. Also be sure to always get your bargain price. Remember, it's valued the most at the end. The lower monthly payments the better, and your agreement should no longer be 36 months. With every positive, there's a negative. Here's some downsides of leasing. Car loses value over time, you save more money by buying. Agreements can be complicated, it's still not your car, and you still gotta pay interest. So, now that you know some pros and cons, what about if you want to buy the leased or new car? Buying a new or leased car can depend on your own personal preference in terms of your fees, if you do or do not have insurance, restrictions on mileage, and the availability and longevity of your car. Remember, there are a lot of things to also consider too. Safety, size, payment, insurance, reliability. These are all things you're going to have to do before buying your car. So of course, you should probably consider some insurance. Insurance, best known for their commercials probably. It's required by most states. Rates are always higher for male new drivers, and without home or savings, it can be costly. There's auto liability coverage. In case of an accident, this insurance will pay for legal expenses and the repair and medical bills of whoever got hurt. It's also known as bodily injury liability and property damage liability. There's also no-fault states. There's also medical payments coverage. This is if you're injured in a car accident or the passenger is injured. This insurance covers medical and hospital bills with a certain limit. Personal injury protection and no-fault insurance is applied. Collision and comprehensive coverage covers damage from accidents such as hitting another car, tree, garage, etc. And they also cover damages from fire, floods, tornadoes, theft, etc. A majority of these are out of your control. Here are some other financing considerations. Ever heard of gap insurance? Car dealers and lenders sell you coverage from the gap between what an insurance company thinks your car is worth and what you owe your car loan in the event you're in an accident and the insurer declares the car as a total loss. Sometimes you're not going to need it. If you structured your car looks correctly and you put money down and you stick to a 3-year term, this may not be necessary. Choose your insurance company based on their reputation, which can be through social media, friends, word of mouth, etc. Compare quotes from several companies by looking at their ratings, see what they have to offer, like discounts, rewards, policies, and make sure that they are financially stable. Rates can also be reduced based on planning ahead before your old coverage ends, purchasing a low-risk car, being a safe driver, less driving time, good grades, marriage, reduction as you age, and household discounts. Here are the top 10 best insurance companies Consumer Affairs offers. I was surprised myself to see Geico so low. A lot of these have a lot of commercials and reputation fares. But according to this website as seen below, these are the best ones that they can offer you. Now, with all the information we just talked about in mind, here are some things to think about in terms of future for your car and cars that probably will last a very long time. As you can see, Honda is pretty big, but also if you remember from the slide before, not a lot of people bought Hondas. So, when you're thinking about purchasing your car, please remember everything that we talked about. Thank you so much for listening, and good luck purchasing your car. These next few slides are references.